Hey everybody, this is Monique Lynelle from Monique Lynelle's Living with a Purpose blog, and this is your Monday motivation. So, today we're going to talk about your mindset once again, but to do with completing and finishing stuff. Sorry if you hear background noise with somebody is outside like with a four-wheeler, so it's making some noise. Anyway, so your mindset with concerning finishing things, I want to talk to you about because last week I talked to you about success, right? And there's different levels of success that people have put on upon themselves that they think of as success, right? But um I have to use myself as an example. When I wanted to write my first book, My Journey at 30, when I wanted to write that book, I started not knowing when and how I was going to finish. I just knew it was important for me to do. And so I made it my goal that I wanted to finish. That was my goal. I said I wanted to just finish the book, put it together, put it out, right? And so it took me quite a while because I wrote the book along a span of a whole year. The whole year why I held the number 30. I went from the literally 29, I had the plan, and then the whole year that I was 30, I did like journaled and took notes of everything. And so that took a year. So then after that, I was in a bachelor's program once I got out of the army, and that was a whole nother process. So I put the book kind of on hold, and I really needed to type it up because I literally wrote it out. And so I had to get that typed up. Then I had to get it edited. I had to do all of this stuff. But in my mind, I was like, I can do this. I just wanted to set this goal and see if I could finish it. And I did. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I had to have the mindset that I'm going to finish this. This is going to come to its completion no matter how long it takes, because I just wanted to do it to show myself that I could, and then share what my process was and how I got through it and put it out. And it's a long book. The first one, I have 3 books, and I'm going to have more in the future. So, child. Anyway, I just believe that mindset is something that can take you very far when you're trying to complete and finish things. There's so many different things that I have finished, and there's so many different things that I still need to complete and finish. And I have to have the mindset of, okay, when I put my mind to it, I can do it. I can achieve this goal. When I first went into the army and I went to basic training, first of all, I went there because I was in cosmetology school and I was working 2 jobs and it was just too much. And I was like, why am I doing this? I was only 18 and I was just like, I'm going. At the time I was still married. I had a husband, and it was like I would go from school to work, and then I would go home and had to spend time with him, and then it was back to doing it again and again each day, and I didn't have any real time. I just felt like I can't keep going like this. And so I was like, well, maybe I can get money to help me by going in the military. But when I did that, I was like, okay, well, I'll go into the reserves so that I can come back home and then just drill on the weekends. But when I went into basic training, I had to have the mindset that I'm doing this for a certain goal of mine. Now, other people came into the military for different reasons, but mine was so that I could finish cosmetology school, so that I could be a hairstylist and have my career. So I had 2 careers from me having the one. And so when days got rough and we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we had to do 5 mile marches, and we had to run, and we had to do push-ups and sit-ups, and people were yelling, and it was just dirt and rain, and we had to shoot, and some days got long, And I'm glad I did it. The reason why I say that is because it built character in me that I might not have gotten any other way. So I learned that I could be disciplined. I had to show up in the right uniform at the right time. I had to do things that challenged my mind and me physically, right? So although other people had their other reasons, I knew my reason and my goal. And the days that things got hard, I had to dig deep, like, why am I here? I had to go back to my why, because I could have just said, forget this. I don't need to stay here. I don't need to do this. I'm serving this country. These people don't even know me. They don't care if I'm here or not. Somebody else will do it. I was just like, no, I'm going to have this mindset that I'm doing a noble thing by serving my country. And by doing this, I should be able to get some benefits to help me to have the other career that I was looking to have. So it's a win-win. I'm giving something, and I should receive something. So I was sowing seeds that I could reap a harvest from later on. And so those days that were hard, when I was tired, when I got a cold, I got like a sinus infection at the end of basic training. I would never fall out of runs, but I started falling back on one run. One of the drill sergeants stayed with me the whole time, but I was only a little bit behind. And then I had to catch up, but it was hard for me to breathe. I was like, had all this nasal stuff going on. I was like, what the heck? But I was like one of them soldiers, like, I'm not just going to sick call just because. I wanted to soldier up. So at the end of the day, those days that got hard and rough, I was like, why am I here? And that's how I got to the next day, because I was like, I got to push forward because I have goals. Same thing when I went to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training. It was hard. Some days were rough. Some days I had cramps. Some days, it just was like, oh man, this is rough. But I was like, no, I'm going to keep going. And the reason being is because I had another goal to achieve, and I had to push myself because I wasn't trying to quit. And that's my motto. Quitting is not an option. And the reason why I gained that is because so many times I could have quit on myself. And when you make different goals for yourself, sometimes you have to revisit those because life happens and it gets a little rough. And you're like, how can I do this? But sometimes you need to recalibrate and think about, why am I here and what do I really want from this? And when you're real with yourself, then you can put things in a priority list. You can just have the perspective of, okay, if I don't do this, will I be satisfied with my life or myself? So I'll share with you one thing that I did. I watched that movie Serendipity, and I absolutely loved that movie. But the one guy that was the friend, he was the obituary writer. And when he wrote obituaries and his friend was going through what he was going through, I don't know, if you saw the movie or not, but if you go back and watch it, I recommend the movie just because it helps you to look at things like, what if, like, how about if I didn't meet this person, or what would happen if I was with them instead of someone else, and what would my life look like? And these people met, and then they were saying, well, if we're supposed to be together, we'll meet some other time and go on from there, right? So it was just very interesting that the obituary writer, the friend, was like, I'm going to write my friend's obituary to show him where he is right now in life and what would happen if he didn't go after this young lady that he met and he was curious about for years. The young lady was curious about him also. And so it was a time frame that both of them were engaged, and then you're like, what's going to happen?